Hello, everyone. Good evening, and sorry, we're just starting. How's your day been? And how are you doing generally? Yeah, so okay. Yeah. So welcome on board the maiden edition of the Family Life Today show. That's the FLT show. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm really glad. I'm so excited being here today. And we have a very, very special person here on board today, who is our guest for today. And she's in the person of Ayodeji Lawrence. Okay, so I'll bring her on later, but just before I bring her up, I'm going to be doing her profile. Okay, Ayo Lawrence is an organized being, graced to solve complex problems with ease, such that every encounter with her takes you to a place of clarity, promoting your personal bliss. Her tribe knows her as the queen of premium family life practice. She's a professional counselor and a coach who uses the neuro-linguistic programming and family systems engineering tools to help her clients attain clarity, healing, wholeness, and balanced living. She coordinates and provides several professional counseling, coaching, therapy, and intervention programs with our team for individuals young and old, intending couples who are married, corporate organizations, and so on. These programs includes Journey to Wholeness, the Authentic Me, the Makeover, Employee Assisted Program, Framework, amongst many others. Ayo is co-founder, managing director, and lead consultant at L Cubed International Limited. The company launched the Balanced Me Toolbox, which contains tools that help simplify, bring clarity and balance to your life. It is available on both Play Store and App Store. She's also the convener of Anna's Conference and the founder of Grand Core Empowerment Initiative. She is a dynamic, result-oriented leader with over 15 years of experience in operations and administration management, process improvement, financial stewardship, customer relationship, team leadership, and development with both sole proprietorship and corporate organizations within Nigeria. She's a member of the Network of Family Systems Engineering Practitioners, is a Nigerian Institute of, and also the Nigerian Institute of Management. She's a live member of the Enterprise Development Center, Pan-Atlantic University. She is passionate about the home front and the family unit, and she believes in preparing the next generation for life and leadership in their spheres of influence. Her personal philosophy is to live an impactful life in as many ways possible, leaving a mark on the sands of time. She's married to Oluwafemi Bernard, and they are blessed with 3 lovely trailblazers. Please join me to make welcome Mrs. Ayo Lawrence. It's a great honor having you here this evening. She has, in no small way, blessed me in the last couple of years. She's impacted me in no small way. And so we are going to be getting tips and a lot of empowerment, insightful teachings from her this evening. Welcome once again. Yeah. Okay, I will be adding her on soon. But okay, let me add her up now, right away. Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity and the privilege for coming on board. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much and welcome. Yeah, so today we are looking at the topic help. Am I in a wrong marriage? Help. Am I in a wrong marriage? That's the topic we are looking at. I'm sure a number of people at some point or the other would have felt that way getting into marriage. Before you get into marriage, there's this euphoria, there's a feeling, you are so high, and then you have a lot of expectations, a lot of fantasies, and a lot of perfect pictures and imaginations of what you individuals or expect when they get into marriage. And then years down the line, a lot of times you'll get to hear people, start thinking that, oh, am I sure I'm not in a wrong marriage? Or, a lot of people wishing they were single again. And, a lot of stuffs like that. Okay, and so people had gotten to points in their lives and in their marriages where they felt that they were actually, in a wrong marriage. Maybe not, they eventually did not get hooked or married to the one in quotes, that prince in Charming, what now, that they've dreamt of all along while growing up, the Prince Charming and all that, and the happily ever after picture and all that was just not, it was not becoming their reality eventually. So over to you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You can hear me. Okay. So over to you now. Is there anything like a wrong marriage at all? Is there anything like a wrong marriage?
Thank you so much, Ife, for having me this evening. And thank you for
Hello?
putting up this. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Whoa. Really? Let me find out.
We can hear her correctly.
But I can't hear. Okay.
Okay. Can others hear me?
Okay. I still can't hear you.
But can others hear me? Because I
Okay. Okay, I can hear you now. So sorry about that.
fantastic.
Okay.
So
Welcome once again. I'm so excited. I know it's going to be loaded.
thank you so much, Ife, for having me on the FLT show.
Thank you.
Well done,
Thank
on that
you.
which you've started. It's a great one, and we need more of this because we know that when the family life is in a good space, every other thing, falls in place. So this is a good one you're doing. Well done, well done, well done.
Thank you
So
very much. Thank you. Thank you.
you asked me a very, very important question
Okay.
that is there anything like a wrong marriage? Is there anything like a wrong marriage? Is there anything like a wrong marriage? And um, what is marriage in the first place? I think we need to look at that. What is marriage? So marriage is the coming together of two adult individuals, a male, a female, adult individuals, coming together to start a home, to start a family. So that means the coming together to starting a home is the marriage. But who are the people that make up that coming together? Two individuals. So from my understanding, there are no bad marriages. Because marriage as an institution in itself is a fantastic one. When we follow the systems, the structures, the principles that have been, put together to make a marriage work, it will definitely work. So, in my opinion, as a professional, I believe that we have one or two disempowered adults who are in disempowered states. And these one or two disempowered adults have come together to get married. So there is nothing with the institution as it is. The institution is okay. What we need to look at are the people that have come together in this institution. So when we have a marriage that isn't working, or a relationship that is not, delivering to us the result that we want, we need to check out the people in that relationship. Is either one of them is disempowered, or the two of them are disempowered and they are both in disempowered states. So my response to this is there are no bad marriages. We just need to check out the two people who have come together, to work together. They're supposed to work together as a team, but unfortunately, we are not seeing that teamwork. Yeah.
Wow. That's so deep. That's deep. So in essence, whatever we are seeing from our marriages is as a result of the individuals involved. Is
Absolutely.
either one person is giving 50, the other person is putting in everything, or they are both in a disempowered state, not giving it best majorly. And so I've been able to gather from this is the quality of any marriage is dependent on the quality, the wholesomeness of individuals in the marriage itself. So when that question starts coming up, then we should check ourselves and check our partners, right? Wow, thank you very much. Okay, so what actually exposes people or predisposes them into wrong marriages?
There are quite a number of things that makes people to, get themselves entangled with someone they shouldn't have gotten themselves entangled with. Don't forget, we said there are no bad marriages. So that's why I don't want to use the word bad
Use
marriage.
the word again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there are so many things, that can make an individual to get himself or herself entangled with someone that they're not going in the same direction. One of the things is if you feel getting too old, people around you are already making noise. Oh, you're old. When are you going to get married? When are you going to bring your husband home? When are you going to start having children? The parents are saying, oh, I want my grandchild. Oh, I want my grandchildren. You're not getting younger. The night of a woman gets dark quickly. When you begin to hear all manner of things, it can predispose someone to getting himself or herself entangled in a relationship that wouldn't move him or her forward. Then another thing is maybe the person is living in a home wherein he or she feels they are not being heard, or they are being not well taken care of, and they see marriage as an escape route. So such things can push someone into a relationship that he or she hasn't done due diligence, and he or she finds himself or herself stuck in that kind of a relationship. Another thing is when people are, just I'm trying to see another good example that I can use that can predispose an individual to getting into a wrong relationship. If he or she feels, if I don't get married now, this opportunity will pass me by. So now it is not pressure from without, it's not pressure from within. So the person feels, oh, if I don't get married to this person, if I don't give this person my yes, I may not be able to see any other person again that would treat me like he or she is treating me. And it's not true. It's not true, because it's important you do your due diligence. You're sure of the relationship you're going into. You're not rushing into it, because it's for the long haul. We are looking at till death do us part. So why do you have to hurriedly get into something and then at the end of the day, you're rushing out it again? So let me stop on those two. As we go on, I'll add more.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So in essence, marriage is not the ultimate. And
Yeah.
so to get into it, ultimate preparation, maximum preparation is required on
To be
both
made.
sides. Exactly. Majorly. It's not just something that should be based on fantasies, on expectations and all that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so okay, we are not going to be using the word wrong, because there's actually, marriage is not wrong. Marriage is a good thing. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and I agree with you. But well, it's for me, I think it's the point that some people get to, and they start questioning, the rightness of their marriage. Okay, so
Of
is
the
it just
marriage.
a feeling? I think we've answered this question partly anyway. So I was just going to ask that, is it just a feeling most times, or it's real for some people? The negative marital experience, is it just a feeling, or it's real for some people, especially in the cases of domestic violence and some other stuffs?
Yes, it's a mix of the two. Some
Okay.
people have a feeling that I think I'm in a wrong marriage, and some people are really experiencing the wrong marriage in quotes, and some
Yeah.
people are really experiencing whatever it is. So when an individual has an expectation of what marriage should be, and by the time he or she gets into that marriage, he or she is not seeing the expectations play out. The person begins to think again, did I make a mistake? What was it? What were the things I didn't do right to get myself in this situation? And maybe they feel they're not being heard in the marriage. Maybe they feel they are being relegated to the background. Maybe they begin to see themselves as doormats. Maybe they feel their spouse is not allowing them to have a say in decision making. Those are the things that begin to come up in the hearts of individuals. It can be a male, it can be a female. It's not gender specific, that begins to make the individual feel, what's wrong? This wasn't what I set out for. Where did I miss it? What was the mistake? What exactly went wrong along the line? So things like this make individuals in such relationships begin to think and to assess again, what's going on here. What's going on here? maybe someone is a high flyer, a career person, can be a man and or a woman. It depends on the relationship you find yourself. Because we know that there are some women who are high-handed, who are so opinionated, who wants to have their way, and they are the ones who are riding, the men. And there are some men who also behave, in that way. You are, maybe before you got married, you are the type that is that is forward thinking about your career, you've had it all planned out. And by the time you got married, let me use a woman for example, the husband says, sit down there, housewife. And you're like, oh, you didn't see me as a housewife material before, I got married. You knew me as someone who wants to, grow in her career. So why are you saying I should sit down? So this begins to make the woman, if it's a woman in this case, to think, what's wrong? What's happening to me? I didn't bargain for this. Why am I in this situation? So these are part of the things, that can make individuals begin to have second thoughts as regards the kind of relationship they are in.
Okay. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So for people that have found themselves at that point of questioning the rightness of their relationship at one point or the other, or those that are going through such presently, or people that may come to that point at some particular time, maybe later on in the future in their lives and all that. Okay, so how can they isolate it and be able to pinpoint on the issue itself? How can they isolate this feeling and be able to separate it from the main issue so they can tackle the issue? Okay. Whatever it is that is underlying, that is responsible for it. Because I've come to realize at times that it may not, like you just said, it's just the quality of the individuals in the relationship. And so when they are ready and willing to work on their relationship, they can actually, take it up to bliss and beyond. Do you understand? Okay, so how can they isolate it and then sit up the feeling and be able to identify whatever it is that is underlying so they can get to work on it? How can married couples do that?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm of the opinion that people who have issues in their family must be vulnerable enough to allow professionals into their home. So when you allow a professional to work with you, the professional who is a third party, who is neutral, who is looking at you, from the outside, will be able to pinpoint those things that you have been blindsided with. So you may not be able to see some things, it may be your blind spots, and you know that there is something wrong, but you can't really, put your finger on it. So if you bring a professional in, using the right tools, they will be able to find out what the problem is. There are times that it's not even coming from that relationship at hand. There are times it's coming as a result of the things you've been exposed to before you got married. So by the time they expose you, to the tools, they expose you to assessments, they will be able to diagnose what is wrong with the individuals in this relationship, be able to isolate it, and be able to give the individuals recommendations on how to take it from where they are to the next level. So vulnerability is very, very key. Bringing in a third party, someone that will not be biased, someone that is objective, someone that will keeps your information, is confidential about your information. Yes, bring the person in and let the person walk you through the process.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice one. So I will want to reinforce this point that third party is welcome, because those are the things we were told before we got married. Don't don't discuss your family issues with anybody. Don't bring in thought. And a lot of people are suffering in silence. And some issues are even something that by the time they discuss, by the time they talk about it, by the time they speak with someone, they feel better. They are relieved. They
Absolutely.
are in a better mental state, to be able to combat the issues on ground squarely and handle things better. So I want to reinforce the fact that third party is to be allowed in marriages, but it has to be relevant third parties, trained third parties, trained professionals in a family life or marriage counseling, people who are objective and not biased, who are not going to, load their experiences on you, but will help you out based on the unique situation at hand. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, okay, so for singles, I know you've said it before, but directly or indirectly, but you can still help us uh, tell singles out there how they can avoid getting into wrong relationships, especially for relationships heading into marriage. So, how can singles avoid getting into wrong relationships?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. For a single that is thinking about marriage, what I will tell such individual is one, do you even have a purpose for your life? Do you have a purpose for your life? Very important, because when you have a purpose for your life, when you see someone that is going in the same direction as you, you'll be able to identify such. And when you see someone that is not going in the same direction as you, you'll be able to know that this person, we are not heading in the same direction. So, do you have a purpose? Do you have your vision? Do you have your goals? Do you have an individual value that you stand by? Such that the person that comes to you with something different from that which you have, you can always say, oh no, this person isn't going in the same direction as I am going. So that is very, very important. Having a purpose, having your vision, having your goals spelled out, having, your values known to you. And if someone says, oh, I would like to go with you, I'd like you to you know to come with me on this journey, you can be able to say, okay, what's your purpose? And if it is in alignment, okay, let's give it a shot. That is one. Then another thing is, I encourage people as much as possible to speak with counselors, to speak with coaches, early enough, so that they can guide, so that if there is a need for you to deal with anything, deal with any baggage, you would have done, dealt with them before you get into marriage. If there's a need for you to heal your inner child, you will have done that before you get married. So you are not going into a marriage as a broken person. You're going into marriage as someone who is whole, as someone who can stand on his or her feet, as someone, who is able to face life and is not overly dependent on the other person. So such as singles must be people who are mature, who have grown. Their yes is yes, their no is no. When they're saying I'm coming, it's not that they are going. Their words, their thoughts, and their actions are in alignment. They need to do that. They need to, ensure that even in their career, they know where exactly they are going into, going to. Quite a number of people, went into marriage without this understanding. And was when they got into marriage, they began to unravel, and a lot of frictions, a lot of conflicts here and there. So for the singles, they are blessed to be hearing this. They need to understand that they need to grow, mature, be whole, deal with whatever baggage you're coming with, before you get into any marriage relationship.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's deep. So, for singles looking to get into marriage, you need to go back and do your own personal assignment first. Ensure you are whole first. It's not when you fixed marriage date that you go and start seeing a counselor. It's better you take care of yourself, your baggages, and everything first. And when you are whole, you'll be able to identify if the person you are about getting into marriage with too is whole or not. So it's very, very important to work with a coach, to work with a counselor, so you can be able to identify your own tendencies that can bring issues into your marriage. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So the grinds and grits in marriage. Okay, we've talked about this. Okay, so how can for those people having the feeling already, how can they overcome this feeling and get their relationships into a drive mode once again?
Okay, so we're
For
talking about
those
the
now
people already married.
exactly.
Okay, okay.
For those
I'll
now
say
that
that.
it's not a situation of okay, it's life and death, but they are just feeling that way, maybe because or they are actually picking out some weaknesses in their partners that they didn't notice before. Maybe they termed as strength initially, and it's now irritating them, and they are like, how would this have been the right person for me, or that kind of a thing. So how can they overcome this feeling, or what would you advise anybody feeling that way if it's not an issue of life and death, like maybe domestic violence or something?
Okay,
Or what can you
yeah.
exactly? Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Like we have coaches for our careers, coaches for our finances, coaches for different areas of our life. For such an individual, I would encourage they get a marital coach. Very important, because the person will be able to walk you through whatever you're feeling. Myself and my husband, we have our marital coach, and we ensure we see him once in a year at least. From time to time, we bounce things off him, just to be sure that, okay, we are doing things the way we should do it. So it helps. So you don't have to wait till you have a challenge before you start looking for someone that would, coach you. So for such individuals, it's not life and death, but you're not in a good space. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to just generally have a good time. So if you see that it's something that is overwhelming you, get someone that will definitely hold your hands and walk you through that situation. And that was why I recommended a marital coach. You're a marriage coach, so they can reach out to you. And people can, reach out to us to help them to be able to walk through it. Because when you're overwhelmed, you can't think straight. But the other party who is looking at you, who is objective, who is neutral, can help you begin to see those things that ordinarily you would have seen, but because of what the situation you're in, you're unable to see. So yes, for people like that, marital coach will be really, really will be a good path to tread.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So even after feeling that way about your marriage and relationship, it means it can still work again. It can
Absolutely.
still be great again. It can still be good again. Thank you very much for that. And you can hear it's just like a medical doctor, you know, saying he does his medical checkup once a year or twice a year. So nobody, it's not like it's when there are issues in marriage alone that we should actually go for this check.
Check.
It's supposed to be routine, because it will always open our eyes to areas of improvement where we can make things better, between us. So that's just what it's all about. It's not like anybody going into counseling, because that's another perspective a lot of people have. It means they're having issues in their marriage automatically. So that's not it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Okay, is there now anything, at least maybe before they see a counselor, anything they can do like first aid to be able to gain back their power or get themselves at least off that state because of
Okay.
helplessness? Because it's actually an helpless state. Most times it brings a lot of things, judgment, it's just a negative state anyway.
Yes.
So is there anything like first aid they can do in the meantime?
Yes. I would say that they need to grow their mind. They need to watch the things they expose themselves to, and they need to feed their minds. Before you can love someone, that means you love yourself. And it is part of loving yourself that will make you know that you need help, isn't it? So part of the things that they can do to get themselves from that rut is to affirm themselves. Look at yourself in the mirror and begin to affirm yourself. I am great. I'm fantastic. I'm loved. I'm a blessing. I'm
Yeah.
confident. I'm more than enough. So they need to be able to affirm themselves and to remind themselves who they are. Because when things don't work out, a lot of people begin to judge themselves. A lot of people begin to think, you know, the other way around of themselves. So, one very important thing is affirm yourself and always remind yourself what was the reason why I got into this relationship in the first place. And that is why purpose is very important. You know, there's a saying that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is what? Inevitable.
Inevitable.
Yes. So they need to know why did they get into that relationship in the first place. When they remember, hopefully they should have a reason. So if they remember that reason, it should spur them on to seek help. And while they are waiting for help to come, they are growing themselves. They are growing their minds. They are affirming themselves. They are listening to things that will lift them up and not pull them, uh, and not drag them further down into that dark pit. So it's important that they take care of themselves even as they seek help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Self-care,
Yeah.
self-love is very, very important, whichever level you are in the journey of marriage right now. Self-love and self-care is very, very important. And also purpose, going back to the purpose, your vision for the marriage. And even if you didn't have any previously, you can still always come up with one, and it would create a focus and a drive and give direction to where you are going in the marital journey and all that. Thank you very much. So any word of advice for people with difficult spouses?
Yes. When you're dealing with a difficult spouse, you need to understand that that person is coming from somewhere. Naturally, nobody wants to be difficult. Because when we were all born, we were born, without being difficult. Let me put it that way. We came clean. But when we got here, the environment where we found ourselves, the upbringing that we were exposed to, and some experiences, some significant emotional experiences that we had formed us. So, for people that have difficult spouses, I would encourage that they look at them and deal with them from the angle of empathy. Yes, be empathetic. Because if they know better or if they knew better, they would have done better. That's the way I see it. I'm sure those people that are always fighting, always shouting, they are tired. I
Something
was
on the
watching,
line.
yes, I was watching the King of Boys, The Return of the King.
Okay.
Have you watched it? And there
Just
was a
some
point,
episodes.
and there was a point, the lady, Eniola Salami, Laburu, she just said she's tired. She's tired. She's
Yeah.
tired of the way she's been living her life. So whoever we feel is troublesome or is a bother or is is just a pain in the neck, there is something troubling that person. And the other party needs to come from the angle of empathy. And I will come again to seeking a professional help so that they will be able to find out where the problem is stemming from, where the problem is coming from. Is it from, where the person grew up? Or is it maybe there's a challenge at work and the person just turned and became something else? There is usually something. And the objective is always to find that something, to help the individual become who God has created him or her to be, being a blessing to humanity, because that's the bottom line, being a blessing to ourselves and to humanity, So such individuals the people who are looking at that person should come from the angle of empathy. Should come from the angle of empathy and see how they can get this individual to seek help. And there is help. Yes, there is help. There's no one that can't be better. It depends on how willing the individual is and how intentional the person is as regards his life or her life. Yeah.
Exactly. But if the other person is still not willing, you may just have to go on how to get a grip of your happiness majorly.
Yeah.
So
yes, you have to own your own happiness. Don't tie it to anybody, because it's even too much of a work to tie your happiness to someone else. That's too much. So you own your happiness, you grow yourself. Let the person be able to see how a good life should be lived through you. Because as the person is looking at you, and this person is just with all I'm doing. She's in a world of her own. She's not allowing all my misbehavior, to throw her off balance. Then before you know it, he or she will begin to soft pedal and say, okay, sweetheart, I think what you've suggested, we need to do something. I'm tired of where I am. I want to be a better person for you and for the children if they're there. And even for myself.
Thank you very much. We are sure going home with bucket loads of insights. I'm so grateful. Thank you very much for coming on board, Mrs. Ayo Lawrence. I do not take this for granted at all. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm just going to be leaving us all with this small write-up from Christine Carter. And, in relation to people having the feeling that they are in wrong marriages, she actually suggested that you should also ask the right questions, empowering questions like our guest, Mrs. Ayo Lawrence, told us earlier. We should just only strive to be in an empowered state before getting into marriage. And even when we find ourselves, in difficult situations in marriage, the first thing is to seek to get empowered. Okay, so she listed some things, and one of it is that we should ask the right questions. And I'm going to read now. It says, it's clear that all along I've been asking the wrong questions. That's our own view. When she got to this particular point in her relationship where she was thinking that she was in the wrong marriage. Okay, so it's clear that all along I've been asking the wrong questions. Are you the right person for me? This leads only to stress, judgment, and suffering. Determining the rightness of a match between ourselves and another is a fundamentally flawed enterprise. That means we are not in a position to determine that most of the time, because nothing outside of ourselves, nothing we can buy, achieve, and certainly no other person can fix our own brokenness. We've had this emphasized on over and over and over again by Mrs. Ayo Lawrence. And nothing also can bring us a lasting joy that we crave. We can only get that from ourselves, not from it's within, not from without. A more empowering and more deeply romantic question is, am I the right person for you? And a more constructive and potentially satisfying proposition is to ask, can I accommodate your imperfection with humor and grace? Can I tolerate your inability to read my mind and make everything all better? Can I negotiate our disagreements with love and intelligence without losing myself to fear and emotion? Am I willing to do the introspective work required of marriage? Can I muster the self-awareness needed to help to keep from driving you away? Do I think I'm brave enough to continue loving you despite your flaws and, more importantly, despite mine? Okay, so I'll leave us with these questions to go and ruminate on it and think on it and see how we can, you know, take off from there and bring our relationships to a better state from there. Thank you very much. You can always reach out to Stayo. Please, can you give us your telephone number in case anybody on the live
Okay.
today will want to reach out to you? Can you give us your telephone
Yes.
number?
Yes. My telephone number is +234 818 466 8090. +234 818 466 8090. And my Instagram handle is ayodeji.lawrence. Ayodeji.lawrence. And I'm on Facebook as Ayo Lawrence, on LinkedIn as Ayo Lawrence as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can also always reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. I think my telephone number should be on any of my pages on here, so you can always reach out to me for further questions and all that. Always available and willing to respond. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up this evening. Have a fantastic evening and a great weekend ahead. Bye. Love you.